Punishing Grey Raven has a problem. With PGR rising in popularity combined with the recent release of the long-awaited PC port, there has never been a greater time to jump into the game. So as the title implies, you may be wondering what the problem is, and the problem is the early game. And the perception of PGR's early game is it sucks a lot. Well, some do find it alright, but majority is negative. It gets a slight revamp in Valter patch, but it doesn't fix the core issues, which is the story, gameplay, and progression, which is definitive to nearly every game. The story is easily one of the biggest hooks in a game, which builds up the world premise of the title, so it's fair to say that there is a very little room for error in this area. From fighting gods to robbing banks with your students, so when PGR starts off with Alpha absolutely cooking you, you're like, damn, Kuro Games is cooking. Can't wait to see more of this. Then after beating chapter 1 to 8, you realize this is the biggest snooze fest of your life. With the lack of voice acting and the not great presentation, it doesn't get easier. Gun to your head, what happened in chapter 4 of PGR? I'll wait. To be honest, the biggest issue I have with PGR is mostly the presentation of the story. And for that one guy, yes, it's a visual novel style story, but there is DS games with better presentation that released like a decade plus ago. Recently, I've been playing a lot of Blue Archive if you follow me on Twitter, and the story in Blue Archive has great presentation. From the little sound effects, to dialogue, to the animation, it's a cherry on top to an interesting story, with cool art pieces keeping you immersed in the world. While we in PGR are stuck with these goofy shots that should have been CG or artwork in PGR. I'm cherry picking a little bit, but my point stands. I feel like Kuro needs to try harder in terms of presentation of the story, because they are getting outclassed by Nikke, who is just as immersive and well written as Blue Archive. I think PGR just needs its beginner chapters rewritten and condensed and modernized if it plans to keep new players long enough, similar to what Honkai Impact 3rd did with their starting chapters. But the defining part of PGR is its gameplay. From smooth animations, choreographed boss fights, and skill expressions, pretty much what nearly everybody's playing the game for. So when you see the online praise and finally start the game, it's pretty shocking when it's very monotonous in the beginning, adding to the injury, hidden story missions, making you use clunky versions of enemies in the early chapters. It's a pretty hard sell to keep playing, especially when you have to do this for like 8 chapters just to unlock the rest of the game. Also, what's not talked about much is the balance between story and gameplay. You go to point A, kill enemies, you go to point B, do something, you go to point C, do something else. So now we got unimmersive storytelling along with long repetitive gameplay. And the lack of characters doesn't help too, but this part is natural in gacha games, so I'll let them slide for that. Me personally, if I could change it up, I would remove some of the missions or shorten it down to give a better balance between story and gameplay, while giving out more trial characters like the modern PGR story to freshen up the gameplay so it won't feel monotonous and repetitive using the same characters you got from the start, and it makes it more immersive with the story as you're playing as the actual characters themselves. For progression, there is no reason story should cost 0, especially when you're new and building characters. So in conclusion, Selena needs to lose Eden Fest no matter what.